Across the dual carriageway in Port Glasgow is the launch site where 199 years ago the first commercial passenger carrying steamship slipped into the waters of the Clyde. That launch was to rock the shipbuilding world, and the tiny boat built by John Wood of Port Glasgow was to become the mother of the British steamship. In August 1912, Port Glasgow held centenary celebrations to mark the anniversary of the launch of the Comet. It was a fantastic, almost indescribable display of civic pride. This festival atmosphere sparked a community to capture this community spirit, and through an army of volunteers, the Comet Festival developed into an annual celebration.
2010, and with little or no maintenance or care having been bestowed upon the little ship, it's time for another refurbishment.
On a wet Sunday morning, 2010, the Comet is once again the focal point of Port Glasgow. Some people gather to witness another lift for the Comet as her condition has severely deteriorated.
We move from the east of the country to the west now, but we stay on the water because if you've passed through Port Glasgow recently, you may have noticed the town is missing one of its cultural icons, the Comet. A replica has been on display in Port Glasgow since 1962, but it's fallen into disrepair, and a group of young local trainees has been set the challenge of renovating it. So, BBC Scotland's LAB, that's Learn at BBC Scotland, went along to the busy workshops of Ferguson's Yard to speak to some of the folk involved in the project.
And I could see all the rotten boards, and I said, I'm going to mark these with white X's to give you an idea what we think's to be replaced. But obviously, in the process of removing one board, we discovered the next one was just as bad. Surface-wise, it looked fine, but as soon as you disturbed the board, as you and I both know it just crumbled away, and you went, oh, the Narbor need to come out, so you marked that one, so you just kept going. So what turned out to be just a few boards turned out to be a major set-up altogether. I couldn't believe that after 10 years that would be like that. That's primarily down to lack of maintenance and certainly not covering the boat, which was one of the intentions, I believe.
The last time I saw it, and I was nearly crying, seeing how the planks were opening up and she had been neglected. There was no maintenance. It was obvious.
Got the job through Future Jobs Fund. I was my third year apprentice. I get paid off, made redundant. I'm learning traditional boat building skills, things that I'd never thought I would learn, you know. Working in this particular boat, it means a lot to me because of its heritage with Port Glasgow, and obviously that's quite close to home, you know.
Very difficult trying to find work, especially when there's a lot of redundancies going on at the moment, and pretty much that's it.
We are fast approaching the ship's bicentennial, and a revitalised, rebuilt Comet will be the centrepiece for the celebrations.
Initially, Ferguson's were approached by the Inverclyde Community Development Trust and asked if we could assist with removing the vessel from the town centre. Now, Ferguson shipbuilders have been in Port Glasgow for more than 100 years, so obviously being able to assist with the Comet project has been an important part for Ferguson's as well as Port Glasgow.
"150 years later, a replica was built as a symbol of the port. On launch day, the press were there to the world's day report. When she reached Helensburgh, escorted by 200 boats, with the crew and the passenger all glad that she floats, leaving from the same place she did years before. When the fireworks started, 15,000 people all let out a roar. It was starting to rain, but no complaints from the crowd. 6 months for the job, lads, you should be feeling so proud."
Wheel walk around your tables, And we'll work with you and get the ideas of how what this could be drawn, okay? And use your imagination. And there was a man called Henry Bell, he designed it. John Wood built it. John Wood and his two sons built it. Charles and that would look like with there being cranes. What would the scaffolding look like?
Finally, after such hard work, the Comet was complete. The ship was 28 tons, 45 feet long and 10 feet wide. The Comet was sailing to open and suddenly was caught up in a strong current at Crakenish Point. The captain tried to steer away, but it was too late. The Comet was sinking.
Passengers screamed and panicked. Some were jumping overboard and swimming to shore.
Wonderful, what a terrific project, the restoration of the Comet there at